Hi again, Sarah. First and foremost, Jon Bernthal, love you as the Punisher in Daredevil, and can't wait to see you in the Punisher. And I have different questions for both of you. Sarah, my first question for you is, how does it feel to have John Hurt as your father in, to play your father in Prison Break? And for John, what is your best scene in any episodes of Daredevil?
John Hurt is awesome. He's a great guy. He's a legend. He's professional. I was learning a lot on Prison Break because I hadn't been working that long, and he taught me so much. So he was terrific. And as much as we had a very contentious relationship on camera, off camera, he was a real gentleman and a pleasure to work with.
Best scenes I'll do. On Daredevil, say what? No, you said Daredevil. Did he? Yeah. I really dug the prison scene, fighting the prison scene. I really like the saying I'm good about Phil Severa and the stunt team. They're the unsung heroes of all. I mean, really the entertainment industry, in my opinion, and they're telling stories with fights, and they're doing it super honestly, and yeah, that stuff. Our backs are against the wall. There's not a lot of time, and to be able to do scenes like that in half a day, it's very intense. People put everything into them, so I think those are probably the most fun.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Hi, my question is for John. How would Shane have handled Negan and the Saviors?
I mean, look, I'm not sure, I don't really know much about Negan, but I just don't, people tell me that they don't think that Shane would have stood for a lot of that stuff, so I would probably have to agree. I think he was about kind of nipping things in the bud, you know what I mean?
That's what I like to hear. Thanks, John.
Hi, my name is Robert, and I just wanted to say to both of you, thank you for making the early seasons of The Walking Dead as magical as it was in the comics. And actually, the previous person asked my question, so thank you very much.
Thanks for your word.
Hi, thank you for all your work on The Walking Dead as well. I also had that question, but I have another one, so it's all right. How does it feel when you're acting on set during the first 2 seasons? Because the makeup artists were really great for the walkers and everything. How does it feel when you're actually there? Does it freak you out a bit? Yeah?
Yeah, completely. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were shooting season 1, there's an attack on the camp in, I think, episode 4 or something. We shot it at night. It's one of our first night shoots, and there were all these walkers everywhere. And I can't watch Walking Dead because it scares me. And I had nightmares for the whole show. True story. I would call Frank in the morning and I'd be like, Frank, I had this great nightmare. You're going to use it in the show. He's like, go back to sleep. I'm a writer. You're an actor. Shut up. So the night that we were shooting that attack on the camp, our location, the restrooms were kind of a ways and kind of towards the woods. And I actually made John and Andy walk me because I was afraid to go by myself. And then they thought it was funny to leave. My therapist and I talk about that a lot.
Thank you very much.
Hey guys, so just a quick question. As the way the show works, like people die quickly and abruptly. How often, how advanced are you told that you your characters are going to be ending on the show, and do you feel like there's still character development left before you guys were killed off, or this is just something you guys took with a grain of salt and say, you know what, this is the line, this is the line?
I mean, you know, I think probably I'm not really familiar with how it works over there now. You know, I've been dead as all hell for a long ass time. Got me like the fuck out of there. But I know for me, you know, I knew going in, you know, that Shane wasn't going to be around too long, and I actually feel like I feel like he got to. I'm really grateful for where he got to go and what they got out of him, and I feel like I feel like when he left, he really had to go. And I think it's rare that you get an opportunity to play a character that has like a beginning, middle, and end. I feel like he had it, and I think it was time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've changed their policies a little bit from what I hear. We got a lot of warning. I found out in April for something that we shot in July, maybe June, for an episode that didn't air until November, and we managed to keep the secret, but it was really challenging. And I think for those of us who were around in the first couple of seasons, they try and give a lot of leeway, a lot of lead time to kind of let you know. I don't know that it's that way so much now. There was something kind of amazing, like we were really trying to keep Shane's death, spoiler alert. Everyone's seen the end of season 2, right?
1984.
Sorry. It's on VHS.
Right.
Yeah, so we were trying to keep that a secret, obviously, because it was kind of a big reveal. And they, like, do you remember this? The publicity team, everybody, like the producers, that we got talked to very seriously about the need for secrecy. And then they published, they released the season 2 DVD cover art as like a teaser, and on the bottom of the back it said, including deleted scenes of Shane's death.
Come on, man. I remember that shit. Yeah.
We're like, oh my bad, I must have let that slip.
But you know, man, I know you didn't ask this shit, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day. I was doing press for a movie, and they asked me like,
John does movies now.
Yeah. I was doing press for a movie, and they were asking about The Walking Dead. And, you know, I said, you know, there's about the beginnings of it, and it had very humble beginnings. You know, nobody knew what it was going to be, and it was like this wonderful group of people working on this wonderful bit of material, and everybody was doing it for the right reasons. And there's a reason why, you know, that original group, like those people are literally among, you know, the people who I'm closest to in my life. Like I'm closest to in my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, you know, I mean, I ain't bullshitting. It's like, and unlike any other experience I've had, you know, in my work and my art and in this thing that's so important to me. And I think there's a reason why that group got so close, and everybody was really in it and about it for the right reasons. And I think that something, you know, it's one of those once in a lifetime things. Something about that closeness really, I think, came out on the screen. Yeah. I know you didn't ask that shit, but I was just thinking about it because I said that. Seriously.
Okay, so my question's for both of you. Who was your favorite coworker to work with during the show? Besides each other.
I mean, you know, I think John just kind of hit the nail on the head with the fact that it wasn't a show where like you had one or two friends. Like I hate this, what it's become. It's become this stupid meme, but it was a family. And, you know, like Emma Bell slept on my couch for a couple of weeks because she was looking for a place to stay. And, you know, like...
We're all just together.
Like, it had nothing to do with, like, are you a lead? Are you dying in 4 episodes? Are you what? Like, it was... We were there for each other.
It's cool to talk about The Walking Dead, man. Shit. You know, the other thing is, like, you gotta remember, like, in most shows, you know, you do scenes, like, you got a scene with this person, then you got a scene with this person. Most of what that show was in the beginning is this group of people in the woods all running from shit. So, like, every day we were all there together, and we learned real quick that, you know, if a scene is about a bunch of people in the woods walking through the woods, which is what 90% of that show was, if one person doesn't take it, I mean, you gotta be like, there are zombies out here, goddammit. You know, like you're like looking for them, and if one person isn't doing that to the fullest extent, you mess everybody up. So it was this level of everybody committing to you know, really sort of you know, vital, dangerous place, like believing in that shit all the time. It fosters closeness. You know what I mean?
I will say, like, I think there's one maybe corner of an answer to that that is we had a godfather in Jeff DeMunn, and Jeff grounded everybody, I think, just by his presence and his grace and his experience and his devotion. And, you know, everybody had their different roles, but like, Jeff nailed everybody's feet to the floor. Because if that guy was going to show up and do what he did, then you better too. You don't have to clap when we say shit. We love you.
Hi. I have a question for you, Sarah, about Prison Break. The final episode of the 5th season, there was one scene that was cut from what aired, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what you remember about that scene. It was scene 95, so the second last. You guys were at the fountain, and it was, yeah, do you remember it?
Yeah, I have so many questions about how you know all that information, and I'm like half convinced you're working for the NSA or the Russians or something. Whatever it is that you do, we need more of it in the intelligence community, because that was like an amazing amount of forensic work. So there was a scene between Michael and Sarah and their son. And on the day we shot a kind of variety of endings, and it was meant to be the only time that you see the family together. It was meant to be something that really kind of brought together a sense of closure, but also there were a couple of versions where everything is great and everything is peaceful, and then you just kind of look over your shoulder and there's somebody who doesn't belong who's paying attention to this family. I think it's possible that that scene was cut because that scene opened the door to future seasons. And it's possible that they decided that they really just wanted it to come back for 9 episodes and that would be it. It's possible that they cut it because, like, there was a booger on my face. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the things that you kind of never know. It was an interesting one to shoot, and it was something that we kind of struggled to find the right tone of. So I'm tempted to say that it probably has less meaning than it does operator error, and we just never quite found it. And there was something nice about that final image in what aired with, you know, the brothers and the family that they've created kind of elsewhere. That's sort of all I know. I have a feeling you know more than I do.
Maybe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Spider-Man.
John, I have a question for you. I want to say I loved the movie Grudge Match with you, Stallone, De Niro, and Kim Basinger. And I want to ask you, what was it like filming with some of those legends like De Niro, Stallone, and how it was on set? Because it was a great movie. I loved it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, yeah, that's it. You know, shit, man. You know, like Robert De Niro, that's kind of, you know, everything. And I was definitely like, you know, a real asshole as a kid. You know, I was like a real messed up kid, you know, and things were like not going well for me. But this acting thing definitely, you know, changed my life, and there's no words for it, how grateful I am to it. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I got a life now, and I love my life, you know what I mean? And I owe it a lot to this art, and if there's one person who had an effect on me or showed me that certain kind of energy you can use for you rather than against you, it's De Niro. You know, I just was like the most enormous fan of his, and then working with him, you know, it was like, you know, sometimes you meet people you idolize and you're like, damn, dude, fuck, you know. But with him, he just, you know, he was incredible, man. He was incredible. Yeah, I told him as much. I ain't gonna tell you. Well, I tell you, you know, when it was time to leave. Oh shit, I'm in now, right? When it was time to leave, I went to I wanted to say goodbye to him, you know, and he was like kind of shy, you know, and he didn't want to like have a big moment, you know. I said, no, man, there's some things I need to tell you. So we went to his trailer after the last day. He was in there and he'd mixed a couple martinis, and I sat down with him and I said to him exactly what I said to you. You know, I was a fucked up kid. You know, all this kind of saved my life in a way. And I went on and on. I'm like crying like a little baby, like such a nerd, you know what I mean? And yeah, I like totally opened up to him, man. And I said that. He's like, you know, John. Yeah. And I didn't want him to say nothing in response. But then after he's like, you know, John, we do these movies and then they're over. I'm like, that's right. You didn't mean nothing by it, but I was like, yeah, right on, dude. Right on. Yeah. But he's the best, man. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, to both of you for being here. Thank you.
Hi, Sarah. You mentioned that you're doing some writing this summer. Can you talk about that? And do you have an update on Elena's Serenade?
Wow. Elena's Serenade is out to a bunch of financiers who are really... Let me tell you how hard it is to get something made. When you're an actor, you're the last thing that happens, right? They like develop this thing for 12 years and then 5 minutes before they start shooting, they cast some people. Getting involved at the writing and producing stage has been a real eye-opener in the last few years. So Elena's Serenade, our director is working on sketches, and he's putting together that pilot that we did the Kickstarter for, and we're taking that out to try and, you know, put together. There are not many movies being made right now that don't involve nothing personal, superheroes or like Lego superheroes. So yeah, I'm climbing up that mountain, and it's a step every day, and it's going to get done, and we're going to be proud of it, but it's going to take a long time. In terms of the writing right now, I'm working on trying to put together a documentary about refugees. I've worked closely with the IRC for years, and there's something that's going on in Africa, and I'm trying to get some cameras into that. So that's where a lot of my writing and producing has been kind of focused in the last few months. I love all the other creative stories that are being told, but I've got some pretty strong opinions about refugees and the ways in which we can stand up for each other, and what it means when a population is weak and needing real superheroes to step in, and people to really have courage and say, if you're afraid, I will protect you. If you're in danger, you can come to my home and I will make you safe. So I'm trying to make a documentary about that.
Hi. Oh my gosh, okay. My question goes, a lot of characters come and go on The Walking Dead, and I've always wondered if either Laurie or Shane ever wanted to interact with someone else on the show that you never got to, or someone that you had a brief scene and you wanted more.
I mean, I would have, you know, again, we were all very much together a lot, so I know them very well as people, but I wish that I had gotten to work a little bit more with Melissa, you know, one-on-one. We had one scene, you know, at the very end of my time there, you know, after the barn, like out by the water, we were like, kind of like washing each other's wounds or some shit like that. I don't know what it was, but it was Matt, you know, I love everybody. I have the utmost respect for everybody. She's a real magic woman, and I wish I had gotten a few more with her.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd almost say the same thing. I mean, there's a lot of people who joined the show after I was off it. You know, I never got to work with Chad. I loved him on The Wire. You know, like there's people that came onto the show whose work I admired. Never got to work with Dave Morrissey. Never got to work with Denai. Like, you know, there's some giants that it would have been really cool to have had a chance to kind of take a crack at some material with, but, you know, I guess grateful for what you got instead of what you don't.
So we're running a little bit low on time. We'll have time for probably one or two more questions.
Y'all can speed round it. All you people are standing.
Yes or no questions from now on? I'm kidding. Go for it.
Let's do it fast. We're not doing too fast.
We got you.
Hey guys, so my question is for Sarah. We've heard you sing in your past projects and recently the band from TV, and I think you know where this is going, but I was wondering if we could hear you sing a song right now.
Come on! I love you guys, absolutely not. Partly because there's only one way that this goes, and everybody goes, can we get out of here without looking at it? Like, I'll sing in something, it'll be professional, it'll be great, or I won't. Up here is totally the wrong place. This is interesting. I feel like I'm in high school right now. There's like a flop sweat, shaky hands. I appreciate the support and the love and the thank you so much, but we got to the speed round.
Oh yeah.
And that's just
Hi, my question is for you, Sarah.
no. Totally kidding.
How do you think Laurie would react to Michonne and Rick's relationship?
I think she'd be really happy that he's found somebody that he can get through the hell with. I think in another world it could have been her. I think they had a really, really great thing. But she just wants her husband to be happy and she wants her kids to be taken care of. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Hi. I just started watching Prison Break, and in season 1 there's a scene where you're caught in the infirmary during a riot, and I found that really scary to just watch it, and I'm wondering how you felt.
You know, the funny thing about the extras on the first season of Prison Break is about a third of them had been inmates at Fox River before it had been decommissioned as a prison. They were 201, gentlemen and super kind and awesome, but when I found that out, there were moments where I was like, so which one of y'all were locked up? And what did you do? Yeah, it kind of freaks me out a little bit, but they were all wonderful gentlemen, especially Kwame, the guy who like puts his hand through the thing and pulls my hair out and stuff. Like, he's a really, really big dude who spent his life making sure that he's not upsetting anybody in the room because he's a really big dude. He's the nicest guy out there. But yeah, it was a little scary. John, by the way, is in a movie that's coming out soon about basically prison. And a prison, is there a riot in it? There's not really a riot. There's a riot, yeah. So there's that. I love Sarah.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you, John, first of all, for being the sickest Frank Castle ever. Well, actually, the question's not for me. It's from my good friend who's too shy to ask it. It's for Sarah. How did it feel coming back to Prison Break after 10 years? And part B is, do we have to wait another 10?
To answer part B, I have no idea what will happen with that show. There's nothing in the works right now, and I don't want to lie to you, but I've thought I left that show, like, I overdosed at the end of season 1. My head was in a box in season 3. head got put back on my shoulders in season 4, and then I was in season 5. So I'm definitely the wrong person to ask about whether or not this is gonna come back. Coming back to the show was like working in a high school reunion. It was amazing. You know, you haven't seen these people in 10 years. Perfect example, I asked one of the actors how his wife was, and I had the wrong name because there was a new wife. Do you know what I mean? Like, people have had babies, people have come out of the closet, people have remarried, people are single. It was amazing. We all owe our careers to that show. And to have a chance to get back together with those people and see what's happened to everybody and the ways in which their stars have all risen, it was really cool.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, I was wondering, because the end of Prison Break, LJ wasn't there. Like, yeah. So I was wondering, maybe like, well, yeah, as a like the sixth season can be LJ. Like, where was he? And like.
You know what, I'll be honest, I have a feeling the answer is that Marshall was shooting somewhere and totally unavailable.
Oh, okay.
I did ask that question at one point from Paul Schering. I was like, where's his son?
Yeah.
He was like, he's busy. He's watching The Punisher on Netflix. Like, we don't know what's going on. But nothing terrible happened to him. I think just in 9 episodes there wasn't time for that storyline, and Marshall is off being famous someplace.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, my question is for John. First and foremost, I will say that in Daredevil, you were sick as the Punisher. Like, you really killed that role. And I wanted to know how you are feeling about your solo series on Netflix for the Punisher. Like, what was the process of going back into that character in this particular show?
You know, hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the good word. I appreciate that. You know, I don't know, man. You know, I'm very nervous about it. I'm always real nervous about stuff before it comes out. You know, and you know.
I think I'm nervous too.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
I think we are both in the same pattern.
Yeah.
Like nervousness.
Yeah, man. Because I don't want you to see you next year and you say, oh, you fucked it up. You threw it together. If I did, I want you to, you know. It's like, but look, man, he means a lot, you know. He means a lot to me, the character. You know, like I said before, I'm a dad and I'm a husband before anything else, you know. And so for me, you know, I think there's a part of Frank and a kernel of him there that, you know, really like resonates with me and really. You know, it really makes me feel a lot, you know, when I think about that, and you know, he's in my heart, so I just really want to try to get it right, and you know, and I'll do whatever I can, fight to do that.
I'm sure you're gonna kill.
I hope so. I hope so.